Hey everyone. I'm wishing you a big warm welcome to the weekly Vega Fairground Jam or Testnet Jam. This is the first of 2022. Happy New Year to everyone and welcome back from the big winter break that you guys have had. I hope you had time to rest, relax, take stock after the big year that was 2021, and let's go into 2022 with a big bang. So my name is Dagan. I'm a community manager at Vega. You might see me from here and there on the newsletters and the Discord, Telegram, all these live events. And the Fairground Jam is an ongoing series. We run these every Thursday, 6 p.m. GMT. And each week we take a deep dive into a different aspect of the Vega protocol with a member of the Vega team or a special guest as we have today. So today, this week, we have a very, very special guest. We have graphic designer, artist, super creative community member, TheUprightOne, who you might have seen on our different social channels, or Rashid. Rashid Taibi. Taibi, perfect. And so today, Rashid and I will be talking about his origins as one of Vega's best community content creators, what interested him, how he ended up working directly with us more recently, and his philosophy behind what he creates. And as always, some quick housekeeping before we begin. Whilst Rashid and I are speaking, you're free to ask questions in the Twitch chat, and he'll answer those at the end of the call. And yeah, just feel free to ask anything that comes into your mind while we're having a little nice casual discussion. We'll also be going through some sneak peeks of stuff we've been working on throughout the last few weeks. And yeah, let's see how it goes. So let's begin. Rashid, can we have a quick introduction from you?
Well, what can I say? Hi, everybody. I'm happy you can finally see my face. Sometimes you see me with this really strange guy looking into a cinema scope, you know. It's a bit like this, but stranger looking thing. What can I say? I grew up in Spain and I came to the UK about 22 years ago. I'm North African in origin. And I come from a very interesting background in that I was born in the UK, brought up in Spain. So I've always had an identity crisis, but at the same time, you know, my heart, my mind, my feet, all are in different locations of the world. So I'm very privileged in that sense. I got into design. I started doing multimedia design back in Leicester, fresh out of school, straight from A-levels. And the world was far too big for me. Dad passed away shortly after that. So my world sort of rocked a bit. I sort of tried to recalibrate in some sense. I was very young. I think I was 17 when I first came. Worked in car factories and slowly, you know, I sort of stabilized the course and went back to studying as a mature student. Big shout! I got a Student of the Year award because not because of my academic abilities. It was more to do with I was always very helpful and very involved with other students because I had the maturity behind things. I always was very empathetic. I think that came from my mum. I mean, both my parents finished school just before GCSEs. I mean, you know, it's a North African education system, civil wars. So I didn't have the opportunity to have parents in the sense that were highly academic, like my wife. Both her parents are university graduates, so it's chalk and cheese. But I think I saw that as an opportunity more than a hindrance. So I'm always eager to learn. I mean, I'm addicted to history, engineering, mathematics, you name it. You know, everything just catches my interest, and especially with children, it's like, you know, a second go at education. So I'm extremely privileged.
That was a really wonderful introduction. It seems like you've kind of been involved in many different things, and I kind of get a hint of that in the designs that you send, where they're just everything's going on, and your mind is just, I don't know, it works in such a creative way. Even our designer, the original designer of the Ghosts and some of the other things we do at Vega, he envies how you take his very simple designs and you make them into something so mentally stimulating. Would you say your mind always worked like this, or you kind of, as you grew up and all these different aspects of your life, did they come together to make you as creative as you are now?
I suppose when I was, my friends tell me my family tell me I've got the memory of an elephant. You know, I can think of things back as a child, and I used to be very lost in my own world, and without making mockery of perhaps a very debilitating aspect in people's life. You know, I wasn't on the spectrum, but I felt like, you know, I was in this world, lost in this world. I had the communication skills, but I knew I was strange and weird. I mean, look at the I'm wearing these really crazy trousers at the moment. West African wax prints. My wife makes them for me every Christmas. I'm North African, but the Western African outfit, the bubu, you see the ladies and the men wearing them. I mean, I love that stuff. So Dad and I used to watch documentaries of all manner of sorts, from pygmies. My dad was a great intellectual in the sense, he was very well read, very profound reading as well. And I think I get a lot of that from him. I see what's happening in the world today, and I can remember reading Brave New World and thinking, Christ, this is a carbon copy. Or Edward Said, another a North African that I hold at heart, that I absolutely adore. Camus, if you're very into heavy literature, existentialism. But on the other aspect, I like Mondrian, Kandinsky, the Bauhaus movement, So the artist gets inspiration from life itself, nature, the mind of the man, man in the sense of the individual. So what we try to decode is that fold between conscious and subconscious, and how do you bring that? I don't want to call it madness, because there's nothing mad about it. It's how we articulate things into the rational material world. And when we go back in time and we see the cave paintings, how did some of them manage to do these cave paintings and others didn't? Some people could interpret the natural mystical world. I mean, African cosmology and spirit world, when you see the mask, they're representing something that cannot be described in a human way. These are when I say these are spirits, this is what we are. We're spiritual beings. So how do we bring this to the material, rational man? So yeah, that sort of stuff fascinates me. And the mind, some people say, well, the schizophrenic has this sort of mind, but most of us, it's such a jumble, the mind, and then we get molded at school to think a certain way, so we can become very productive and very efficient society members. But really, man has always been very curious about what's out there and finding purpose and meaning and making sense of all this, because we're not here just to do derivatives and ghosts. There's something, there's a force that we don't understand what it is. God, information, omega points, very deep stuff out there.
It sounds like you've been thinking quite deeply about these things for quite a while.
Oh yeah.
Some of our audience is saying that's really beautiful, and the art can go where words can't. And you've listed quite a lot of different inspirations. Would you say there's anything that really stuck out to you as something that you take a lot of inspiration from, or is it you're constantly inspired by different things and then you don't know what's going to come?
It's hard. I think the beauty and the miracle of life is my inspiration. I mean, when we look at biologically, we have I don't know what the 2 to the power of 62 chance of being alive. That's massive odds. It's not about sticking your willy and a baby is born. It's really hard work to be alive and be here. It's a massive effort. When you think what happens physiologically, and then when you're here, and people get run over, bombs, earthquakes, it's tough. And life should be, every day you should be grateful for the miracle of being alive. And you don't have to be religious about that. You just have to accept that is very important. And sometimes, menial things get in the way. But this morning was very crisp here in Middle England, in the Midlands, beautiful with a low mist. And I sometimes can be a sucker for being a bit of a workaholic, or, worrying with 3 kids, when's the next paycheck coming in. But sometimes you just take a minute and you're thinking, right, this is pretty cool. Being alive.
It is very cool. Life's always an adventure.
Blessed, like the Rastafarians say, blessed.
Bless up, man. Yeah, it's perfect. What sort of things were you involved in directly before the stuff that you're doing now with your design and architecture work? I know you kind of mentioned it at the beginning, but you're now you're now in this blockchain crypto industry, right? It's a bit of a weird, wonderful place with there's lots of creative designs in this industry. That's one thing. But you're now involved in an early stage blockchain company. What kind of took you here, and what were you doing directly before this?
Well, I was heavily involved back in 2014 with one of the pioneers in the space. I mean, I can't name who they are, but I did a very simple website for them, because they needed a presence. They were flying out to the US and they were meeting Bank of America, very early crypto. I think XRP, Bitcoin, and a couple of early possibilities were being looked at. And I think they were making a presentation. They were ex-big, JP Morgan's, Goldman Sachs, that sort of stuff. Can you whip something up? Because they felt that their own weight in the industry, albeit they were head of oil exports, and we had just come out of a crash 2007, 2008. So they were starting up, severance pay, buying loads of stuff, and think, well, there's a great opportunity here. And I just whisked something very quickly to give them a presence, because it wasn't just about your CV. You actually, there was the internet presence, the marketing. People say it's superficial, but people, it's a first impression. You have a website, this is what we do. We provide liquidity.
So you were anonymous, like you didn't put your name on that piece of work, so we can't find it today.
No, it was purely anonymous. I remember the guy telling me, you should get into Bitcoin. It's what? It's $124 a coin. Get into it. I think it was around about that. But I was too busy. Advice. I was too busy going to Five Guys or something, looking at
yeah.
And I'm quite frugal. And I said, I can't. It's not something that interests me. And 1 year, next year, and then I really got into it, and I found it really interesting. I was interested. I could hear about Ripple. Ripple was a company at the time that was really making a lot of noise very early on, before the SEC court case. So I have been involved with it, and I've always been very interested in machine learning, and especially since watching the Space Odyssey, I always had an interest in HAL 9000 and that sort of stuff, and the future. Seeing things that could happen and may happen. That were related to sci-fi, and the blueprints of digital currencies were starting. And I sometimes feel like I sit in the fringe of society, and I'm looking in, and I say, oh, I remember seeing that in a Philip K. Dick novel. It's crazy. It's happening now. Or what I mentioned before with Aldous Huxley. These things have been seen. It's a different theater with different actors, but the same narrative, so to speak. So yeah, it's fun. I like it.
I can see. And you have four questions from the audience. Okay. Someone says, firstly, you need to hear about Bitcoin exactly 3 times before you buy it, which seems to be your case. They asked, do you miss tapas in Spain? How old are your kids? And Star Trek or Star Wars?
Sorry, which was the first question?
Do you miss tapas back in Spain?
I do heavily. I also miss my mum's food. I eat some very strange things. Sheep heads. I like hard kidneys. I like offal. I like tapas, and in Spain we have tapas, as you have. I've got a lot of Argentinian friends, and they have like barbecue tripe intestines, like weird stuff. So yeah, sorry guys. Yes, I love tapas. I love tortilla and the usual stuff you get. But there's some very nice obscure stuff out there. Did you know that? Did you know that tapas comes from, in the olden days, you had a drink. Una tapa is a lid, so they serve you the food on top of your beer, and that's una tapa, and the food was on top of it.
Wow, okay.
That's the origin of it.
I used a little bit of Spanish when I was younger, but I haven't done it for a while. But that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, un poco. Hablo un poco español.
Muy bien, mira, hay que aprender.
Pero no es bueno.
Eso es fantástico. Hablas un español muy bueno, Dave. Te van a llamar Diego.
Gracias.
Nada.
Okay, let's move on to your art a bit. So you started taking over a lot of our designer David's work in terms of like he would come up with the ghosts and then you would kind of transform all of his work. What do you think of the ghost mascots, and what about the hedgehogs, and what stood out about the original artwork that made you say, hey, I like that, I want to take it, I want to transform it?
Yeah, well, I originally got interested with Vega. I must have mentioned this before, when I saw a first round of capital raised. Because I was following you on LinkedIn because I followed Pantera Capital, one of the main investors, which I don't work with, by the way, and some other players. And I went to the website. It was beautiful, beautifully crafted, technological, without being cheesy. There was no neon colors or, classical finance with high-rise buildings. And, we're in Manhattan. And so it was just perfect. And Ed, one of your engineers, had these profile pictures made out of Game Boy. Used the Game Boy with a camera and took these really cool pixelated pictures, computerized, and then
Yeah,
all that
he still
digitizing.
takes them with a Game Boy.
Beautiful. And then digitizing that pixel, those old computerized, fused with these pixel-eyed ghosts, the transition between this human to this avatar, you know, these ghosts just was perfect. You know, these alter egos, or well, avatars really, that were playing in this space, and it all made sense. They, you know, you traded in this gateway called the Fairground, and you could try things out, and it just, I mean, it was beautifully crafted. And even it's complex. Derivatives are complex. Even when I hear people talking about futures or, you know, options, it's gobbledygook in most cases. But to try and translate that into something where people can, you know, there's people who are in there for the token to moon, and there's people who are in there to say, right, this is a great piece of tech that we can do all our market trading, onions in Azerbaijan using Vega. Great. Okay. It works.
Yeah. I want to give a demonstration, or like a sneak peek into some of the work that you've been doing. Not the new stuff that we haven't seen yet, but more just like the older designs. And I've got a big collection of them, because for the people watching at home, they may not be aware of just how creative a lot of your work is. And I don't know if you remember all the pieces of work you do for us, like maybe you do. You have a memory of an elephant, you said.
Oh, yes, I do.
So I'll share my screen, and I want to show just some of the stuff that you've been working on. So this is the one where you made with the validators.
Yes.
And these were like, a lot of these are just, they're very creative, that they just kind of, we didn't ask you for them. We didn't say anything. You were kind of just following us, and then you made these insanely creative, really, really nice designs. And then I like them so much, I was using them for the announcements, for the different official, even the official announcements we would do, anything we would do, I'd think, if you did a piece of artwork, I'd say it's better than anything we were doing anyway. So I'll use that instead. So yeah, this one was great, as we announced, when we announced mainnet and the validators coming together to put everything together. This is a nice one for a bad bit in the testnet. Deconstructing Vega, which is
I love this one.
Putting together soon. This one's really nice.
I like it.
Really, really old, like the old kind of old. It's got a very retro feel to it. A lot of our graphics do, and I'm a big fan of this one. I use it a lot. And these are really, really nice. I like that we need to make it to mainnet. Like, it's just really nice. You've come and given life to the designs and the different aspects of the website, as if we're on a journey and we're going somewhere. And then I see you've got a shout out to Ed, who was
absolutely, yeah, massive shout out. Look, even the pixelated dojo, you know, it's.
What were you thinking when you were putting? Well, there's Discord as well.
Yes, it is. There was a wave, and that, you know, I think when I described it was me waving at the Discord crowd. But you know, there is all these. There's the Taurus. There's these mathematical. You know, those guys who've used MATLAB in the past. You know, you render all these mathematical equations, and you create these shapes to explain, you know, curves or, you know, all manner of things. And I think Arrington Capital had put a tweet. I don't know who it was. If it was Mansour or Michael Arrington, they said volatility is the food of the gods. And straight away I did this, and it had the sort of, and this was back in June 2020. And, you know, either side it flanked like something out of Clash of the Titans, you know, Jason and the Argonauts, you know, the Homer's journey with these large titans flanking all these mortals coming into the gateway. So there is all that, classics, the Iliad. You know, I just like that stuff. And then somehow you find this vector, and they meet at a point, and it just works. And I can't, you know, there's no structure to it. It just flows, and it comes out creatively.
It's amazing. Really, really is. Even like ancient mythology too, like Web3.
Yes, well, exactly. Well, it's mythology is very much like that. It existed in a space. You know, we tried to describe things that the gods were doing, and they were all linked to give us stories and morals, and, you know, how to navigate this complex world.
We've got this for the Fairground Jam, which is what we're currently doing right now. Welcome to the Vega Fairground Jam. And I like, you like the backgrounds. We got market data. It really captures what we're trying to do. So I thought this was really cool.
Yeah, yeah, and the jam, yeah, the jam in the context has a double entendre, a double meaning there. It's not jam is in the classical where everybody butts in and mixes, and by sharing ideas, you come out with better. It's iterations, isn't it? People just that's what I love at Vega as well. When you do the hackathons, and especially with the big brains, the programmers in Golang or C, they're going in there and it's a challenge and it's rewarded. They don't have to go through their employer. Vega put something out on as a competition, and it's a challenge. They look at it, it's worthy. I've got time. There's whatever it is, whatever the bounty is, and it's a challenge. And they work because to read code is not easy. You're inheriting code or a sequence from someone else, and you're building on that. So hat tip to those big brains that sometimes contribute that we don't know of. They're in the more obscure channels of Discord,
and there's a lot of them. There's a statistic released recently that we've got, we hired like 4 times more engineers than some of the other big projects in the last few months. We have so many engineers, and they're all behind the scenes working on putting this all together. And all the community often just see the community team and some of the other engineers that like to go on public, but there's a bunch that are working just behind the scenes, and we don't see so much of them, but a lot of big brains.
Yeah, I've spoken to Wit. Is it Wit?
Witold, yeah.
Witold, a fantastic guy, very nice. I mean, we've talked with Chris as well. I've spoken with.
They're very community facing, so they're both in community teams.
Yeah. But there's people behind the scenes. They're really obscure ones. That
the core engineers they hide, but I'm trying to get them out. We've actually got one next week for the next week's Fairground Jam. We're talking about the desktop wallet, so yeah, I'm bringing them out slowly but surely. And you've see some in previous Fairground Jams where I got them to talk. But some will never be in public, so you won't see so much. This is really nice, the Vega Console. I think there's so many, we won't get through them all, but they're all really, really creative.
Yeah, this is how to visualize the bidding process, those figures. And then when you hit the bid, it's trying to visualize that and, the explosion.
Oh, that's really creative. Yeah, I never even saw that in the picture, but yeah, that's exactly what's happening. And you've used the Vega mascot, these small guys. They're Vega from Street Fighter.
Yes, indeed.
We used to use Street Fighter a lot more in our designs. We use the Street Fighter, the Hedgehog, and now the Ghost a lot more. Liquidity, because everyone liked the Ghost and they kind of caught on. But Street Fighter, a lot of our release names as well. So our internal release names are often Street Fighter stages. So like Oregon Trail, I think is what we're working towards next, which is net trading. But we don't say that publicly, but we said it in a few of our newsletters, but it's we're very creative with our naming and how we name the stuff we're working on. I think it's fun. It makes everything a bit more interesting. This is good. I like the clown figures. You use the clowns quite a lot. Is there a history with clowns?
I don't know. I mean, perhaps it's the entertainment value of the clown, but deep inside there's always that deep melancholy. So perhaps it's that when people say, do you miss Spain? I live very far away. My dad was pretty much an alter ego. I'm sorry to come back to my dad a lot, but it probably explains a lot of these things. As an alter ego, there's always that, I've known him more dead than alive. You're thinking, Christ, I would have liked to have these conversations with him about, Fibonacci or, what's happening in Egypt. And it just, it's just really interesting. But I have a lot of assets to do with clowns, and because it's Fairgrounds as well. So I like to go back to sort of, there is that fusion. But if I were to find something, I like clowns. I find them very interesting as what they play in society. Well, more in the olden days where clowns were more popular. I've been to a circus with a clown. So this worked really well in this space. And I think we were just talking about Wendy at the time, and I think in that central character, Wendy is the fair trading, wasn't it? Or something that...
Wendy's the fairness widget that allows for easy front running. Stops front running, MEV. Yeah.
And reads like a
Here's
comic.
Wendy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just screaming creativity. I've noticed this guy lying down he's like dangling stuff in his shoes. He's in the most recent Ghost.
He is, yes. I mean, this is about, I suppose, multi-chain trading tokens. You have Aave, Bitcoin, Ethereum. You're trading all these different
balancing on his shoes. It's really cool the way your mind takes the concepts and like thinks, how am I going to express it? I didn't think about it so much when I first first look at these things.
I'm a deep man. I'm a deep man. I'm a deep man.
There really is a story. Yeah, you are quite deep. It's profound. It's good. It's good. I really like it. It lets me appreciate it even more. This one's been used a lot. I think people even took this as inspiration when they were doing the stickers for the sticker competition that we had recently.
Yeah.
I think we've used it quite a bit. It's nice. No one likes whales in crypto. Why is the guy lying on top of the whale?
Because that's what I suppose a lot of people listen when you look at on Twitter, not so much influencers, but larger whales, the Winklevoss brothers and the guy from Coinbase. He gets a lot of stick lately. I forgot his name. Barry. People listen to these big whales.
Brian Armstrong.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yeah. So everybody listens to large whales, 100,000. Michael Saylor. They listen to whales to see what these oracles have to say. So it was just a play on that, and the beauty of Vega is that whaling. I think there was a blog post about it, that it's made in a way that you can't have a.
Yeah, we have an anti-whaling feature for the
exactly.
So you can't have a huge
And
it all makes sense.
And then mainnet and testnet having these two orbs which encapsulate the actual the project. The other heart of it is Vega, this entity, and then there's all these points that you have to go through before reaching this outer orbit of mainnet. And if you look really closely, the man with the big ears that looks like the BFG, you actually see Vega and Lyra constellation within the space.
In the ears?
No, between the black.
Oh yeah, I see. Yeah.
So that's an actual constellation map for Vega and Lyra.
You are a genius. Very, very, very good. I like the points. Like what you just said is also really conceptual with the A, B, C, and trying to get to mainnet before you actually reach that orbit, because you're creating a blockchain and you're creating the system with the validators, and it takes a lot of modifying and getting it right before it's always perpetually in orbit, because the blockchain goes on forever and ever.
And testnet was about
to meet a steady state. It's there.
Yeah, and testnet was about that when you were doing all the competitions. It was how we can break the system as a community before we launch it, because the last thing you need is to say, right, you're going into the next stage of investment and release, and you're finding bugs. And this needs, in software development, there's a lot of testing at beta phase. It's like you don't want it to flop, especially because there's no room for mistakes. There's so many competitors. I mean, I forgot his name. He's a really nice guy. Oh, and he had an Excel sheet of very similar platforms. He's a very handsome guy as well. I wish I had his hair. I'll find it. But
on the internet and Vega, like, who is this person?
No, he's external. I have him in small talk. Let me see. His name is Marcin Powell.
Marcin, one of our community people. Really active in Telegram.
So he, in Excel, he's got on his Twitter feed, he's got an Excel sheet showing all the competitors of what each one does, how many transactions per second each of the derivatives platform. And very exhaustive. He's a fantastic crypto journalist, one of my favorites. I mean, I love his work. Very technical, very detailed. Does very good research, good sources.
He's absolutely fantastic. He's the reason he put together our Telegram and really grew it from the ground up. And
he's on, very honest guy. I don't think there's ulterior reasons. He wants to be one of these voices, like you get the people all these crypto publications. I get them into my email constantly, but having someone who's at the forefront of the sharp end of crypto journalism is important. Not just influencers and all that noise around Bitcoin Twitter or crypto Twitter. It just can be such a nightmare, such a headache.
Yeah, we're a big fan. We really like him. Been great. I would love to have had him working more than he already is. He's all the stuff he did. He just kind of came in, said he wanted to do it, and he was there. He was in our initial community core team because we ran a pre-ambassador program that we're running now, which was a year and a half ago. It was called Community Core, and Marcin was one of the first people. And then that was kind of where he was already active in the community and joined that. So yeah, shout out to Marcin if he's watching. He watches some of these, and see you around the community. This one I've used a lot. we maybe use it too much. It's a bit embarrassing because we use it. We do the research office hours every Wednesday at 12 p.m. GMT, where we do an AMA with the community team, no, the research team, with Klaus, who made the fairness paper, Vitold, who came up with the idea from the more like financial side of Vega. And yeah, we use this a lot when we're pushing the research hour. We really like it. If you want to create us a new one for the research hour,
I will. You know, in fact, something to say about Klaus. Klaus is such a witty, funny guy. For someone who's at the, I find him, he's very funny. When I've heard him talk, he can throw some real gems. He's got a.
He is really funny. He had a good joke in the Fairground jam we did with him just like around November time.
Okay.
He was telling us about his concubine status when he was in Switzerland.
I love him. He's such a clever,
he's
funny
a very
guy.
funny guy.
Really funny. And that's, in fact, Wit inspired me. This is probably shout out to Wit. Somehow he inspired me when I talked with him. I think he was based in Poland. We're just, throwing some ideas. And then, I was looking at the research papers, that mathematician who was in Edinburgh University.
David
Siska. That's another inspiration. I was looking at his papers and published papers, and some of it was just like so heavy and so deep, but the patterns and the beauty of the equations just fit here perfectly. The guy is the picture's from someone from the 1920s, so it probably is an advert for an optometrist, and here I am using it for deep machine learning. That's
crazy with the Vega logo on top. Like, what a great job. Wow. You've got the Black-Scholes equations. I'd never looked at them this deeply, but like this is pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the code is from your Golang code that I found in GitHub. So you'll see on the left-hand side, I'll put that in. That ghost, the ghost that's going into this sort of brain, that really is. I mean, we talk about the technology, but it's the people behind the technology that really make it. Because there's such an amount. I mean, my main client, that how I got into crypto, I still work with them. They've gone up now. They're on 180 hires from 4. When I first started working with them, there was only 4 of them. There's 180 now.
We might get there someday. We're getting
close. It's mistakes, it's opportunity, it's luck, it's time in the market. There's so many factors that you don't control. Regulation is another ball ache. So
regulation is a big ache for Vega. It's very tough. So we're very careful about all the things we do, and a lot of things we want to do we can't do because regulation says, you can't just give people tokens.
And there's EU regulation, and there's SEC regulation, US regulation, and I know I do a lot of stuff with Singapore and Hong Kong. They're different entities, and then divisions in China, and then they ban the crypto in China. You have to evolve as quickly. And it can be very expensive. The legal side is as big as the engineering side. Compliance.
And it's also just finding specialist people that do law in crypto. We have an in-house lawyer, but their understanding of just all the evolving crypto laws and regulations is tough. But let's move on, because we're gonna go way over time.
Gosh, imagine when I'm drunk how much I talk.
It's not even that. There's so many good things. And I also want to give sneak peeks of the new stuff.
Sorry?
But there's so much to talk about when we see these artworks, and looking at them deeply. You could do a whole hour session on each one.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But I also want to show the new stuff that we're working on as well. So
okay.
Let's do quick fire, 10 seconds of stuff you have to say about each of the remaining.
Okay,
pictures.
market making. So we see the render at the front. There's new markets evolving. You see it as a mesh. So it hasn't really revealed. And the universe is your oyster. It can go on forever, infinity. And the title is from an Arrington published document. They called it the Space for Open Markets. When they released that on the Monday, by the Wednesday, I had come up with something. Reading the abstract of the paper, I came up with
the VCs are very creative with their titles. It seems they give you the 2 of the titles already. Their Twitter papers or posts. I like this one.
So the first one I did for you guys on Telegram, that was a hat tip to Barney, 65 Days of Static. Someone really had a go at him for. He said that's all he plays. There was a typo mainnet, which I was gutted, so I released it, and I spelled mainnet on the right-hand side with one N, So
I never even noticed.
I hate typos, especially when I release. It's so embarrassing because I have a dictionary in the back that I always keep. So I don't know
Me
why
too.
I
I hate like when I get like Twitter typos.
So yeah, well, this is it. There's no going back. There's no going back. So yeah, this is very early stage. So it was nascent in my mind.
Wait, can you explain the 65 days of static? What is
65 Days of Static is one of your founders, Barney, is one of his favorite bands. So I started listening to that when I was designing this. So I know that in the first Telegram chat I was having very early on, unfortunately I deleted my Telegram account because I was doing an update. So I don't have a log of that, but yeah, that's how it started.
This one is a redo of Validate as well.
Yeah.
You made this one for the Builders Club. I think there's an animated version.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's the one. Yeah. That's the one. And again, the different, the coding, the Ghost, the Vega.
So these Raindrop Circle things, how long does it take to make them like that? Is there a way to make them random, or do you just paste them everywhere?
No. I have a library of big data outputs. So someone has visualized the data streams and they rendered these. So again, this can come from a program called MATLAB, an engineering program. Or a lot of the big AI and data analytical software will produce visuals, so you can actually understand the data. I suppose in pictures rather. I suppose it's like pie charts are to Excel sheets. It's visualizing data. They know what it means. I don't know what it means. So these are just random figures.
You use them very well. See, we would think you're a genius, but you don't know what it means. Neither do I.
No.
Anyone want reading? It looks good. Maybe that's part of the ingenuity. And then this is another really nice one for the Builders Club. I'm a fan of it. Let's keep going because time. And this is very similar to another one on the Vega. The numbers in the back.
Yeah. I do have a house style. I mean, I produced some artwork using these assets. So I did an alphabet. A compilation a long time ago.
Okay, we have 4 more. This one's nice. I mean, this is just that's not you. That was just I found it.
Oh yeah.
In the same folder. This one's really nice.
I haven't published
it's a lot more subtle.
I haven't published this one. This is from I think he's Belarusian or the guy who does the original base asset for this. So he's got like a cubist approach. I haven't published this one so much because at the time I was working for my specialism is packaging for breweries. So I was collecting a mural for them, and this designer came up. And he sells the assets individually, so the heads, the faces, and I just compiled all that together. I made this collage, but I don't know why I did this one. I think I was just filling in space between. I hadn't done one. I said I was going to produce one every week, and I just didn't get round to do it. So I thought I'll just make this one randomly using his assets. But there's a lot in design work. You can go to a lot of the image libraries and draw in assets and build on them. And these asset libraries have, you license them for commercial or personal use. So, as long as you're not selling anything, which I don't sell stuff I do in my community, then you can use them and build up on them.
Yeah, you can share these libraries. We can put them in the description of the video when we.
Oh yeah. It's not. It's anybody could. So basically, this is the base illustration looks nothing like this. So you just recompile everything to work.
I really like this one. A lot of people I've showed it to, they like this one particularly. It's very subtle. You don't realize it's about Vega, unless you see the Vega at the left. But it's different as well. I like it a lot. This one was really nice when we approached the mainnet.
Yeah. This was when the staking started and people were, allowed to create the wallets and what have you.
I made a little graphic about the staking, and then you made this, and I just replaced it. Deleted I changed the blog post because this is nice. It's a lot nicer. And then welcome. This was one of the first, I think.
Oh yeah, and I remember saying welcome to the Vega, to the Console. I was trying to do as if it was in Italian or Spanish, but these GIF animations exist. So what you can do in Photoshop, you import a GIF file,
Yeah.
And it's all animated cells. They're individual images, which then get compiled into a frame, a time frame. So you can add the text and then make it look retro, sort of 1990s, you know, when the Street Fighter, the first Street Fighter came out. Yeah.
So wait, this was what was this a GIF of? Was it a game or was?
No, this is the actual tavern in Street Fighter. Apparently, it looks like this.
Okay. Yeah,
well, I haven't seen it. I mean, I played Street Fighter.
Like I thought it was from Street Fighter, but I felt like from what you just said, I thought you took a different GIF. And
no. And then hosted wallet. You hear someone say hosted wallet at the end. You know, it was when we had to say hosted wallet in a Telegram to say, you know, to be able to create the first testing of the wallets.
Yeah. No, I remember. I mean, I was setting it all.
Last summer.
Yeah. Last summer, yeah, and we can still use a hosted wallet. We don't need to anymore because you can just make it on the on the console itself.
Yeah.
I had a bunch more questions, but I also want to show the other designs. But let's see what questions let's just go straight into it. Do you have any sneak peeks of what you're working on right now?
Yeah,
I know you can't speak about the big. We have like a big plan, but we can't talk about that, and we've been silenced. But let's give us sneak peeks of what you're working on currently, and kind of show the community kind of how you turn a sketch into an actual piece of art.
This is something I'm working on. Can you see my mouse moving?
Yep.
Okay, good. So we're making this, whatever you want to call it, thing. So you some of you guys will see the elements from Fairground, the carousel, that serpentine tower, the duck. You can see that duck with one of the ghosts and the Ethereum symbols around here and here, F. So here you'll see like what looks like a, I was going to say funicular, but it's not a funicular. Funicular is, they exist. I've been to one in Naples. They're these very steep trains that take you from A to B. You get in the ski resorts. So this sort of launch pad to the funicular is being digitized because we're using like a pixel graphic approach to fit in with the ghosts. By pixel graphics, they're very popular. You see them a lot. It's known as 8-bit or pixel art. So it works really well with Vega. So I don't want to tell you too much what we're doing. These are the initial sketches here on the right-hand side. Bits in the center. This is a play on word with crypto mining. It's actually a mine, and we've got some little tricks there. We've got a snow plow. Here you'll see the Vega logo, the current one with the pixelated G or V. So it's behind a scaffold. It's a bit like the Hollywood sign. And there's people like, I don't know, maybe I show my age, Fraggle Rock. They have all these constructions at the back and they're building all manner of things. An ode to, you know. Someone's
saying it looks like Disneyland. There's a lot going on in this piece.
Wow. It's a fairground in it. So, so yeah, we've got other plans here. We've got a little bar, lodge, your après ski up here, you know, to chill out, mountainous region. I think mountains, ski, sunshine, small aperitif, a bit of fondue.
We've got a bit of everything.
Woo!
This looks like it's a nice resort.
Let's party! Let's party! Yeah, I mean,
one day we build it.
I think that's it, guys. That's and obviously, you know, it's all about imagination.
Yeah. So when will we get to see these designs? What will they be? Well, you can't say what they'll become.
I can't say, but you know, I'm hoping 3 weeks, 4 weeks. It takes a lot of time.
4 weeks.
You know.
Okay.
You might have some sneak peek. I'll just need to touch base. The problem is, you know, I work with an illustrator and he had some COVID and, you know, I'm working around things. It's very, we basically work on a tablet and then we zoom in. You have to, I know it sounds really weird. We do pixel by pixel, but sometimes we can get away with using 12 pixels, so 12 blocks and then place it in. It's a quick process, but it just takes a bit of time to get it right because you work on layers and then you say, right, I don't like this, switch it off, bring something in. You have to, the hardest work is the base work, like with anything, getting the groundwork done, that it means that if you make a mistake, you don't have to like delete large sections. So you build it slowly and we have to integrate other things in there for people to work and look at and see, you know. And I can't say too much now. I wish I could.
So this is taking a few weeks, or this is taking some time.
Absolutely.
How long do the other pieces you've done tend to take? The ones we just showed, like everyone.
I hide them from my wife. I hide them from my wife because I really have to work for money. But sometimes I do them because I'm just so bored. The clients I work with pay me well. But sometimes when I'm doing annual reports or venture capitalist proposals, or what I've been working on some roller banners, and I have to, it's really tough work. So conferences there's one in Miami, Bitcoin 22. I'm working towards that, and that's in April, and already my brain is hurting.
Wait, so you're designing for Bitcoin? Wait, is that confidential?
No, because I did Bitcoin Miami last year, you know, when there was this big, you know, and, you know, I do some crazy stuff like, you know, they need it in 4 days. Or there was an event in New York, very close to 9/11. So it was the 20th anniversary, and I was sending banners there from the UK. So I had to calculate customs clearance. I was going to make a joke. I called myself Richard, so you could go through, you know, if they see. Time. Let's not get political. So I mean, and that made it.
We're very lucky to have you. Clearly,
that made it.
And now you're working with us on a like more contractual basis. So you went from like community member to someone who's creating art to someone that we actually reached out to. We're like, hey, we need to speak to this person. They do so much good work, and we're coming up with something new, and we wanted your input. And you more than delivered. So, and you're still delivering. So yeah, it's fantastic working with you. Such a lovely mind.
Thank you, Dave. And I think your team is, you know, if it wasn't, especially for a big fan, David, I mean, like I said, I feel something like an imposter because David created a lot of the base graphics, and, you know, I'm building up on it. And, you know, it was like looking at the Minotaur in the face when I first spoke to him, thinking, I'm nothing, please. You know.
It's great. Like, he does more structured, and he has like his designs. His designs can be quite creative, like the universe theme and the colors. You take it and you make it something completely new, and that's why without one you don't get the other so well.
Yeah, I think
a lot of people are saying in the comments they've wondered how since the beginning Vega had such beautiful artwork. They now they know.
Well,
they said they were very, very, very unique.
It takes two to tango. So, and in our case, it takes, you know, there's a lot of coordination, you know, working with agency, investors, you know, so many stakeholders. So on the investor side, you can't, you know, you have the beauty of the game, going back to the ghosts, you know, you cater for Black, Chinese, you know, it's not specific. And what you find when you're doing a lot of artwork, you know, how crypto is such a global, universal entity, changing in the next 10 years. How do you say that it's everyone? It's not like you're pandering or catering for everyone, because it's impossible. But, you know, it's generic enough to say, right, it's not abstract. It's an API that works on a platform, and it trades petaflops of data. But, you know, how do we make it human without it sounding like, you know, it's just for an elite, you know, everybody. Like I'm a great example. Like, I come from nowhere, and I've been able to interact with people based in LA or Poland. You know, the internet is your oyster. Decentralization now is an opportunity for everyone to make it. I mean, I'm making toys with a friend of mine at the moment. You know, you speak to the factory, people speak English. I'm not saying, you know, this is an imperialistic approach, but, you know, you can speak to without the middleman. You know, you can speak directly to, you know, cut costs, you know, 3D printing. The internet, there's so much information out there that you can find your niche. You can create your reality, which is what energy is in your mind. You create the reality that you want.
Yeah, I mean, you've got like a lot of good reactions in the audience. People are really on board with what you're saying. And yeah, you've demonstrated it and shown it that you really have. And yeah, a lot of people on our team are actually like really excited to have you, to even like speak with you and have you on the Twitch today. So you've had an impact, and people actually recognize your work, and they really appreciate it, and they just wonder like who you are, who is this person. I wondered it as well for a long time. Who is this person with this? Your profile picture was TheUprightOne. I don't know what your profile picture is. It's that guy. And I was like, who is behind this? What is, how do you think of it all?
My name in
But now
Arab,
that we've got,
my name in Arabic means the upright one. It was just, I suppose, when we came off the Patriot Act and 9/11 was so hard. I'm not making excuses for myself. I'm confident in my own skin. But I said, I came off the back when Northern Rock had gone under, so the studio I was working at had folded, and the designers could buy in. But I said, look, I'm going to start from scratch. And I was thinking of St. Elmo's fire, which is when a lightning rod hits a ship and it illuminates the ship. This energy comes out. But I thought, I wanted something more personal, so I called it the Upright One, without I called it Rashid Designs or bigging up myself. And it was tough to start with, and then we were expecting our first, and Leonie was doing a training course as a stonemason, and I had invoiced like £1,000 in 3 months using my redundancy money to carry on. And I got a lucky break. And actually, I know I'm going off on one, but sometimes I don't know how to explain things. I worked in a car factory when I was in France after Dad passed away. I've done such shitty jobs. And if I can give a message, is just remain positive. I mean, even now, some people are saying, oh, it's horrible. Okay, imagine living in the Soviet Union in 1972. We're talking 25 years of Soviet oppression at the time. People just kept on plowing, read the Gulag Archipelago, or, look, you just have to plow forward and not let all that noise bog you down. It's going to be, there's going to be redundancies. There's going to be issues. Just, drink lots of water, be healthy, look after yourself, and keep the mind, away from the things that don't matter, material. Look what I keep on the side of my table, a nest I found the other day. It's so beautiful. Just,
nice.
There's so much beautiful things out there. And I think the internet, Twitter, it can be quite toxic, and Facebook and Instagram. And sometimes, like they say, you have to take a minute and smell the roses.
You do have to take a minute. It gets very, very toxic, especially in the crypto community sometimes. But just life in general. Like right now, everyone's really, really pessimistic. We've just had years of pandemic. Everyone's a bit fed up with everything. But, there's a lot of positives we have.
Yeah.
We're breathing, we're still here. And we're safe, we're sound, and we're working very cool things. So it takes some time to be grateful.
A token mooning is not going to solve your problems. Buying it to 20 cents and it goes to $80 and you bought 1,000. If you don't have the mindset for it, you'll just be miserable, but with $8 million in the bank. So I'm shit at
lessons
now.
to live with.
I don't know what it was, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's money is nothing if you don't have the mind for it.
Yeah, someone saying mindset is key.
Absolutely. And you have to feed the mind. You have to feed the mind with that stuff.
We put it in the Zoom chat.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Sorry, what's that? Sorry, have I missed the chat?
It's in the Zoom chat. I can't.
Dagan to everyone. That Arabic writing.
Yeah, someone posted. I don't know what it means. But it's maybe you don't either.
No, اسمح لي اخويا نهضر العربيه شويه برك.
That's your name. Apparently it's your name.
Oh, okay. I thought they were saying something in Arabic, but my Arabic is a colloquial Arabic. I lived in Spain longer than I lived in my maternal country. And, I've always wanted to go into, before I went to study, I wanted to go into politics, foreign affairs. I even applied to Brizet University in the West Bank. And then somehow I saw the light. I had friends who went to, what's that called? The School of Oriental Studies. And I thought, that sounds really interesting. I really fancy doing that. But then I thought,
What's SOAS?
SOAS. And then, a very good friend of mine went to LSE after Columbia. And I thought, oh, great, politics. And then I thought, what? It's not me. It really is not me. Politics is just cloak and dagger.
I went to LSE and forget politics.
But it's good. I mean, it gives you a good foundation. I think it's the words you get to see how the world really works away from thinking how it works. So
okay, it's 7, so we are very over. But I want to show the sneak previews of some more little ghosties. So I will share my screen. And have a look at these. I got. We've been making some new ones. You can give some comments on each of them, on like how you came up with them, what you like them.
Fairground. Okay, this one it's got a line of code. When you program, you close a line. His mouth is the open brackets /
Yeah.
And again, it was in the old school sort of Fairground stuff. Trapezist, under the tent, so to speak. And there he is flying, or he or she or thing.
Yeah, so you're going to see a lot of these, I think, featured around Vega. We've got the ghosts in lots of different scenarios. So
yeah,
you've created a base layer for like more creativity. So thank you for that.
Yeah. And
more
again,
clowns.
This is
like
more clowns. Yeah, sort of very 1950s abandoned sort of clown, but it's riding on the back of it, so it's quite good with his morning coffee. Sometimes when I produce this, I think, oh, the coffee cup isn't centered enough, but there is room. No, you don't have to be technically, at 50%. Sometimes I look back at designs and wish I changed something, but again, the old automobile with his hat. But this one, for example, it's a bit too glossy, and I wanted it like the bumper cars. I should have at least perhaps, scaled back on the shine. It looks a bit too toy-like, but I still like it. It's still.
I like it.
It has an announcement side to it, spinning a lot of plates. You might have seen that before.
Like with the guy who was going down with the plates.
Yeah. And
we've got one like that.
His haircut is a bit Kim Jong-un. Sort of,
Nice. We might have to change the haircut.
No, it was meant to be a parting curtain, sort of 1990s boy band, but it didn't work because it's the color. But yeah, I think there's one with just a sort of curl coming down. He's on a swing.
Yeah, not this one. This one I really like. One of my favorite ones.
Oh yeah, this is the party. I mean,
simple and sweet.
Again, yeah, this is in the Fairground with bubbles. I think you go to a classical sort of 1980s Fairground, and there was the Hook the Duck, which plays on what you originally had from.
That makes sense. Yeah, the black and white duck.
And this one is just to make an integration with the pixel work I'm working on now, and just sort of fuse it. But it's it's imaginative. It's in a bubble contained.
This was one of my favorites of all the ones you made. I like the duck a lot. Here's a guy with his hair.
Well, this one, I like this one. This is how I feel sometimes. It's like, and it's in this metaverse with these sort of Miami Vice sort of retro looking pinks. And yeah, it's I like this one a lot.
So some people got not upset, but like they said that the guy shouldn't have any hands. And they said the ghosts don't have hands. But I like him. And it would be hard to do without the hands. So
yeah, I'm sorry, guys.
It's nice.
Sorry.
It's okay. Let's see what the Twitch chat say. Maybe they like the hands. But I'll check in a minute because I got full screen here. I can't see it. This one's really nice.
Yeah,
I like it.
Balloon. You might have seen. I think I sent you something today with seeing the whole balloon and how it fits with the clouds and letters. And it worked really well. I mean, I like this guy. What I would say would make his glasses a bit bigger. It looks like he's borrowed his younger sister's glasses.
Yeah, we can fix. Now we've seen them, we can fix all of these. These aren't the final ones.
Yeah.
This guy, he's cool. You submitted him to the sticker competition.
Yeah. And it's just lucha, Mexican wrestling, which I like. I like the mask. I like the aesthetic. I love Mexican history. So I think it's just a heads up. And if you look closely on his forehead, there's the V from Vega that integrates into the mask.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, Dagan, all those Easter eggs and you're not spotting them. Come on, man.
I'm going to keep it. Next time you send a picture, I'm going to zoom in for like half an hour.
I do like to put little Easter eggs. In fact, in the thing I'm doing, I'm hiding a really, really hard hedgehog somewhere. And that's going to be the super bonus.
Wait, not in
no, not
for something else. Okay. I can't wait.
If you find if you find Hixel, I don't know, man, you're incredible.
Hixel the hedgehog.
That's Hixel,
yeah. Let's. I'm looking forward to it. Like I can't wait to find him in the next piece of artwork, which is looking to be very, very cool.
Yeah.
And from the sneak peek you showed, this guy, he's stomach full.
Oh,
on
yes.
his little. And this one, a lot of people really liked. It's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, this one plays on the horse that you already have, and I think this is the subtlety of using just the 5-color palette that you have. So using the pink and the green and the yellow, just for small details. And when I looked at the brand assets, it was so beautifully crafted that it shows you the percentage color use. Don't use too much black. Don't use, if you look at how much color you use, the pink and the yellow is what you least use in the main branding. So well studied by big fan. I mean, it's beautifully thought out. I mean, when you do brand guidelines, it's a lot of brain power. It's not just big pictures.
Yeah, I'm honestly, when I first found Vega, I was really impressed by the colors, the brand, like the same way you are. And it's kind of what made me look deeper into the project. And I'm glad I did, because it's a cool project.
Yeah, it's really well
doing big things here. And this was years and years ago. We haven't got the skiing guy. Well, skiing guy wasn't you anyway. But that's a lot of the new ones we're creating. They're going to be used in different aspects here and around Vega, and we have an idea of integrating them in future projects that are coming up. And they're going to be the base for a lot of other, they're a foundation for things we're working on. Nice glasses, great glasses. Perfect.
The ghost
looking good. Let's see the chat. Someone they like the Kim Jong hair. Poor duck.
Don't tell him I said that. Don't tell him I said that. I've got family. I've got 10 kids. Come on, man.
We got to keep them safe. The light bubble effect as well. People like that with the duck, which is why that's why I really liked about it. It's really cool. And someone's calling Hixel Sonic, and Sonic is every. They like the Hixels like hidden in places. It's really creative. We have such a big art portfolio already, so this could be great if we ever when we ever do NFTs, we're set. We've got everything. And hopefully so much more.
I see sometimes people saying, when are you going to do marketing? And marketing is a discipline, it has to be structured. It has to make sense. There's so many, and it's easy being on this side of the fence on Telegram. And I can say this because I'm a freelancer. But it's, when people say, well, where's the marketing? And, we don't see these things take so much time. And look, I was doing things without you asking me. So sometimes you need, even with the company I work with, there's a VP of marketing. They've only just employed, after 6 years, a London-based head of marketing to coordinate all the events. Because there was only one person. I was thinking, how can you manage all this? You send something to Dubai, send something to Singapore, and on top of that, you have to respond to the C-suite, so the board of directors, and you have to deal with conferences and events in Amsterdam. It's impossible. And then I send you the artwork, and you have to give me feedback because we've got 3 days to produce it. So that takes such a long time, and especially with COVID, what events are open? Where can you advertise? Where are the best signals? Is it on Twitter? You get overwhelmed by it. It's not as easy as just, you just say, we've got a great product. You have to market it, and that takes a lot of time. It's an art.
Yeah, it really is. And we're ramping it up this year. People in the community will be glad to hear. We have a cool person joining our team to do a lot of our perception work next week, actually. And they'll be helping with socials. So you'll see a lot more activity. And there are some in-person events this year, so we'll be trying to attend those as well. Cool. So you'll see a bit more here and there. So I think 2022 will be an exciting year for a lot of the stuff we're working on in the background. But let's finally wrap it up. This has been almost double the time of the usual Fairground.
Oh, sorry.
But it's been such a good conversation that I'm loving it. It's great. And it's going to be really good to listen back to, because there's so many nuggets of wisdom in there, so many really interesting insights into how your creative process. Like, anyone who sees the stuff you're doing in the community will be interested in this type of video explaining the man behind the scenes of like what goes on to get from the idea, from even the announcement to like the piece of artwork that accompanies it a few days later because of your brain and what it's putting together. So let's finish it off with something non-crypto, non-artworky. Tell us an interesting non-crypto related fact about yourself.
I am a ultra long distance runner. and I once ran a race organized by the Spanish Legion, which was 101 kilometers long in May with 4,000 meters of cumulative elevation. So you're going like that. It took me 12 hours and I lost both my toenails.
Wow,
that is extremely.
That's there's like the book Can't Stop Me with the guy, the Navy SEAL who does that all the time.
Oh yeah, it was incredible.
That's almost matching it. That is matching it. It's crazy. That's really, really, really.
He ran bad water up in the Death Valley. So his stuff is crazy.
Yeah. When I was reading it, that's exactly what he did. It sounds similar, and I would never like to do that. Someone said they tried 10 kilometers once and they couldn't walk the next day. In the comments. But yeah, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing your story, your time. I'm so glad I asked you to star in the show, to be our guest today, because fantastic, absolutely fantastic.
My pleasure.
And I'm going to share this with the rest of the team when they start asking about who made the artwork. It's fantastic. We'll be uploading this on YouTube shortly after. Probably by tomorrow you'll see it. And yeah, this has been the weekly Fairground Jam with our very special guest. We'll be having the next one at 6 p.m. GMT on next Thursday, but we'll be talking to some people from the development team about the desktop wallet that we're working on, which you might have heard about in the tech update. And yeah, thank you, Rashid. Have a lovely, lovely evening. Thank you all for watching and giving comments all throughout. We were really, really glad to have such engagement, and speak soon. Bye.
Buenas noches.
Buenas noches, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.